Hello, friends. We have a short message from our friends at Lego.
Where will your creativity take you tonight? Explore the wonders of nature with Lego Friends Botanical Garden. Your imagination can build and play as you create blossoming flowers and exotic plants. Let your curiosity unwind as you build and watch butterflies fly around with this immersive set. With 3 Lego characters included, you and your friends will explore and learn about all the joys of the garden and the beauty of its plant and flower species. As you build, unbuild, and rebuild, you'll find new ways to engage and play with this interactive scene featuring garden accessories for a fully displayable scene. Find joy and happiness in the fun of play with Lego Friends Botanical Garden. Visit lego.com for more details.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Sleep Tight Stories. Rowan loves her dog and the adventures they go on together. As Rowan is planning their next adventure, Buddy tells her about something he has heard. Buddy has heard that the shelter in town has to shut down, and that all the animals will have no place to go. Rowan says they can't let that happen, and they start to make a plan about how they can save them. Rowan and the Great Animal Rescue. In Maple Ridge, a town where every street seemed to smile with its cozy houses and gardens full of flowers, lived a young girl named Rowan. She was a burst of color in this vibrant town, with her long, wavy red hair dancing in the wind and her eyes as blue as the clear Canadian sky. Her freckles, scattered across her cheeks like a constellation, only added to her charm. Rowan had a very adventurous spirit and a unique style. Today, like most days, she wore her favorite t-shirt inside out, and her socks, as usual, did not match. One was striped and the other dotted, and both were trying their best to slip off her feet. Her best friend, a big mutt named Buddy, lay sprawled on the porch, watching Rowan as she busily sketched a map in her notebook. Buddy wasn't just any dog. He had a goofy charm, but was fiercely protective of Rowan. He looked like he could be a mix of every dog breed in the world, and he had a heart to match. "Rowan, what are you planning now?" Buddy asked in a low bark, a language that only Rowan could understand. "I'm thinking of exploring the woods at the edge of town. There might be hidden treasures," Rowan replied, her eyes twinkling with excitement. "But remember what happened last time? We almost couldn't find our way back," Buddy reminded her, his tail thumping worriedly on the wooden floor. Rowan laughed, a sound as cheerful as the birds singing in the maple trees. "Oh, Buddy, that's part of the adventure. Besides, we always find our way home." Just then, Mrs. Thompson, their neighbor, walked by with her cat Whiskers. Whiskers, a fluffy white ball of fur, eyed Buddy with disdain. "Good morning, Rowan. I see you're off to another adventure," Mrs. Thompson said, smiling warmly. "Good morning, Mrs. Thompson. Yes, exploring never stops in Maple Ridge," Rowan replied, beaming. As Mrs. Thompson walked away, Buddy turned to Rowan, his expression turning serious. "Rowan, I overheard something troubling today. The animal shelter is closing down." Rowan stopped her doodling, her face suddenly serious. "Closing down? But what about all the animals? They'll have nowhere to go. No one can take care of them. It's very sad, Buddy said, his ears drooping. Rowan's heart ached at the thought. She loved animals, and the idea of them being homeless was too much to bear. She looked at Buddy, her eyes determined. We have to do something, Buddy. We can't let them be all alone. Buddy wagged his tail, knowing full well that once Rowan set her mind to something, there was no stopping her. I knew you'd say that. Count me in to help. And so, with a new mission, Rowan and Buddy started planning their biggest adventure yet. As the evening sky painted Maple Ridge in shades of orange and purple, Rowan sat on her bedroom floor, surrounded by her loyal companion Buddy and a sea of scattered papers. Her room, a reflection of her free spirit, was filled with handmade decorations and pictures of wild animals. It was also very messy. We need a plan, Buddy, Rowan said determinedly, her brow furrowed as she drew a rough map of the town. We can't just let those animals at the shelter be left without a home. Buddy, lying beside her with his head resting on his paws, nodded in agreement. But it's going to be tricky. You heard about that mean businessman Murphy, right? He's always up to no good. He might take them and do something bad. Rowan's eyes sparkled with a mix of concern and resolve. Yes, I've heard. But we can't let Murphy or anyone else stop us. We have to save those animals. The plan was risky. Rowan decided they would sneak out after her parents went to sleep, make their way to the shelter, and free as many animals as they could. We'll bring them here temporarily, just until we can find them new homes, she explained to Buddy. But Rowan, your parents, won't they mind? Buddy asked, a hint of worry in his voice. Rowan chuckled. They won't notice. They're always so busy with work. And by the time they do, we'll have found new homes for all the animals. The night grew darker, and the stars began to twinkle in the clear sky. Rowan packed a small bag with essentials, a flashlight, snacks, and a makeshift first aid kit, just in case. Buddy watched her, his tail wagging slowly. He admired Rowan's bravery and her big heart, even though he was worried about the dangers they might face. He trusted Rowan to be able to handle anything. The clock struck midnight, and Rowan, wearing her most comfortable sneakers and lucky hat, whispered, "It's time, Buddy. Let's go save those animals." Together, they quietly opened the back door and stepped into the cool night, the moon guiding their path. As they made their way through the quiet streets of Maple Ridge, Rowan felt excited and nervous. She knew this was going to be a mission they would never forget. Under the clear night sky, guided by the moon and stars, Rowan and Buddy crept along the shadowed streets of Maple Ridge. The town was asleep, unaware of the adventure unfolding in its midst. A sense of urgency filled the air as they neared the animal shelter. The shelter, a small, quaint building on the outskirts of town, looked forlorn in the moonlight. Rowan felt sad thinking of the animals inside, soon to be without a home. Suddenly, Buddy's ears perked up. "Wait, Rowan, someone's there," he whispered, his nose twitching. Hiding behind a bush, they saw a figure pacing in front of the shelter. It was Murphy, the mean businessman known for his shady dealings. He was talking on his phone, his voice low and menacing. "Yes, Dizzy, the animals will be ready for pickup tomorrow. You can start your experiments then," Murphy said with a wicked chuckle. Rowan's heart sank. She knew she had to act fast. "We can't let him do this, Buddy. We have to save those animals now," she said, a determined look on her face. They waited until Murphy left, and then Rowan picked the lock of the shelter with a hairpin, a trick she had learned from a book. The door creaked open, and they were met with the sight of dozens of anxious eyes looking back at them. "Okay, everyone, you're going to be safe now," Rowan whispered as she and Buddy moved through the shelter, opening cages and soothing the frightened animals. Cats hissed and dogs barked in confusion, but Rowan's gentle voice and Buddy's calming presence helped ease their fear. They ushered the animals outside, where the night air seemed to invigorate them. But just as they were about to lead the animals away, headlights flashed in the distance. It was Murphy, returning unexpectedly. "Quick, hide!" Rowan hissed, herding the animals into the bushes. She and Buddy dove in with them, barely avoiding being seen. Murphy stepped out of his car, frowning as he noticed the open door. He walked inside the shelter, yelling when he saw the empty cages. After a few minutes of angry searching, he left, slamming the door behind him. "That was close," Buddy whispered, his body still tense. Rowan nodded, her heart racing. "We need to move fast. Let's get these guys to safety." With Rowan leading the way, they began their journey back to her house, a parade of rescued animals in tow. Cats clung to tree branches, dogs trotted alongside, and Rowan and Buddy guided them all with encouragement and gentle nudging. A lot of time had passed since Rowan and Buddy left their house, and as they walked, the first light of dawn began to break, painting the sky in soft hues of pink and orange. They had done it. They had rescued the animals from a grim fate. But as the reality of what they had just done began to sink in, Rowan realized the enormity of their challenge. With over 50 animals in tow, she wondered, where will we keep them all? Buddy looked up at her, trust in his eyes. "We'll figure it out, Rowan. We always do." As the sun rose and warmed the streets of Maple Ridge, Rowan and Buddy, leading their newfound furry friends, finally reached home. The neighborhood was still in the gentle grasp of sleep, unaware of the extraordinary parade of animals passing by. Rowan was very nervous as she opened the back door of her house, ushering in the parade of animals. Dogs of all sizes and breeds trotted in, tails wagging, while cats slinked through, exploring their new surroundings with curious eyes. In no time, the quiet and orderly house transformed into a bustling haven of paws and whiskers. The living room became a playground for the dogs, with some curling up on the couch, others playfully chasing each other, their barks and yips filling the air. The cats claimed the higher grounds, perching atop shelves and windowsills, their purrs creating a soothing melody. Proud and protective, Buddy watched over the chaos with a sense of accomplishment. He nuzzled Rowan, who was beaming with joy despite the pandemonium. "We did it, Buddy. We saved them," Rowan exclaimed, her eyes shining with happiness. But as she looked around, she realized the house was overrun with animals. Rowan knew this was only a temporary solution. She needed a plan to find homes for all her new friends. Before she could ponder further, the sound of a car pulling into the driveway made her heart skip a beat. Her parents were home. Rowan's mind raced. "Quick, buddy, help me calm everyone down." They scrambled to bring some semblance of order. But with over 50 animals, it was like trying to calm a furry storm. The front door opened, and in walked Rowan's parents, tired from their early morning exercise class. The sight that greeted them left them speechless. Their usually peaceful home was now a lively animal sanctuary. "Surprise!" Rowan said, a nervous chuckle escaping her lips. Still in shock, her parents took a moment to process the scene. Dogs wagged their tails eagerly, while cats looked on with indifferent grace. "Rowan, what? How? Why?" her mother stammered, her eyes wide with disbelief. Rowan took a deep breath and explained everything. The closing of the shelter, Murphy's wicked plan, and their midnight rescue mission. As she spoke, her parents' expression softened somewhat. "We couldn't just leave them, Mom and Dad. They needed help," Rowan concluded, her eyes pleading for understanding. Her parents exchanged a look, a mix of exasperation and pride in their eyes. They knew their daughter's heart was always in the right place, even if her actions were a bit unconventional. "Well, we certainly can't keep all of them," her father said, a smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. "We'll find them homes," Rowan promised, determination in her voice. The day turned into a flurry of activity as Rowan, her parents, and Buddy worked together to care for the animals. Neighbors, attracted by the unusual commotion, came to investigate and were moved by Rowan's act of kindness. Word spread quickly through Maple Ridge, and people from all over town soon arrived, eager to help. Families came to adopt the animals, each one finding a perfect match. By the end of the day, almost all the animals had found new homes. As the sun set, Rowan sat on her porch, Buddy by her side, watching the last of the animals being welcomed into their new families. "We did it, Buddy," Rowan sighed, content and exhausted. "We sure did," Buddy barked softly, his tail wagging slowly. The house was quiet once more, but the echoes of barks and purrs lingered in the air, a sweet reminder of the day Maple Ridge's heart grew a little bigger. And that's the end of our story. Good night. Sleep tight.